Hi everybody, this is Blossom. So today we have our last chapter for the Faery Course. It's been quite a journey for me. I hope you discovered a few new things, or maybe you are completely new to the path. And so I really hope this course was helpful. I'm really happy that this is now the last video that I make for this course, because it was definitely a lot of work. But however, this chapter is called Play in Fairyland, so that's why I'm wearing my ears now. There we go. I have a few sets of ears. Yes, I do. So this chapter is about really ending the course with fun, not being so serious about it, and not taking ourselves so serious. Because we, like with every path we go, we can get very heady about it, and then we are very stuck in that space where we want to do a lot of research and where we want to get diving in deep, which is good, but we need to keep the balance, right? We always have to keep the balance, and we established already that fairies like cheerful and playful and a bit adventurous people, so let's do that. So you can see a fairy becomes more and more popular again, which you can see in many festivals that include fairies now, or plain fairy festivals, right? So we have, I know from in the UK, sorry, in the UK we have a lot of fairy festivals by now, and I don't know how it is in the US, but I think there are more there as well. And you can see it, so you don't have to be into that. You don't have to have fun, right? But if you are into it, don't think you cannot be because it's too cute and there's too much glitter involved. You can, of course, have fun. I've been to one of those festivals in Cornwall at the Three Wishes Fairy Festival. And it was such a great experience. I really loved being there. The people were all very, very nice, so warm and welcoming, and it was such a peaceful atmosphere, really, and so inviting. And I wrote it in the text as well. There was like a little ritual, like a little fairy circle, where a lot of strangers came together, and then standing in a circle, holding each other's hand, doing stuff, and then at the end hug each other. And normally I am a very distant person, so I'm not somebody who hugs strangers. Really not. I didn't even like to hug family. I'm a bit weird that way. And still, because it was such a great and warm and welcoming feeling there, I ended up in that circle hugging strangers. Which is for me really a big experience. For another one it's like, why do you make a big deal out of it? But for me it was, right? And the whole festival, it's all about bubbles and glitter and good music and dancing, and it was really, really wonderful. So if you have anything like that near you, I can only highly recommend going to an event like that. But also, so this is for me in the UK. Here where I live, there are no specific fairy festivals. However, in Germany, where it's often a little bit more, where they are sometimes a bit more stubborn in their ways, so we have a lot of medieval markets. So you can go during summer, you can go every week to a medieval market if you like to. And more we see how they bring in fantasy And so, of course, they have unicorns and fairies and fauns and whatever. So this comes in a bit more, where normally, you know, medieval markets, people were always a bit more, well, you know, they yell then at you that you're not authentic, which is true, you know. It definitely, yes, it's not authentic when you have a medieval market and then you come as a glitter fairy, you know. So I never dressed up as a fairy on a medieval market. I have my medieval dresses as well. Just saying. So, but more and more they add fantasy to it. So that's what I wanted to say. However, there is something special about dressing up, because you bring something that is deep within you onto the surface, you know. You can be the real you behind a mask, which seems, you know, contradictory, but it's not. It's a very fairy thing. Sometimes we just need a mask to be ourselves, right? So I think that's really a beautiful thing about it. And like I said, if you're not into it, that is just fine. Or you just don't have the possibility to go to an event like that, then you can create like, you know, a barbecue, a fairy-themed barbecue with your friends, for example. And you ask everybody to dress up. And it doesn't have to be expensive, so don't think you have to go around and buy expensive supplies to make a costume. Maybe one of your friends just brings a wand and another one just have ears like that, or something in that direction. I also have other ears. Let me just grab them. So I really, for me, when I really come into that fae feeling, I'm disappearing, really into that fae feeling, that's every time I put on those. I love those. They are so big. So this will not be good, but if you glue them properly, that looks fine. I absolutely enjoy wearing those ears. And then that's for me, I'm a pixie. That's really the moment when I put that on. I also have, I made fake dreadlocks myself. You know, you just can put it in your ponytail. And then I have a certain dress that I wear, and then I go to those things. So maybe that is something you enjoy, and you should really do that when you work with fairy. That is absolutely fine. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. That is fine, okay. So when you don't like it, you may want to get a bit more crafty. Maybe you want to start to build fairy houses, or you create your own little fairy doors, or you know, like we discussed already, that you start painting, doing photography. Maybe you like making jewelry that is a bit fairy inspired. You know, just have fun with it. Another way you can maybe have more fun with it is, of course, to connect with like-minded people. And social media is, of course, a good medium to connect with like-minded people, right? We can be a bit critical with social media, but there is also that part. So I know I'm not really active on Facebook. I'm there, but yeah, so I do nothing with it. I'm just there. I'm just there for the messenger. So, but I know I am also in groups, but I don't check in regularly or anything. But there are definitely groups, fairies, or Facebook fairies, something like that. You will find it. Just give in fairies and look for groups. You have, of course, groups that are maybe more invested, or that are more focused on folklore, and then you also have the plain fun group. So maybe you want to go in there. You may connect, I don't know, over Instagram. I tag some of my things now with fairies of Instagram, but I don't have really connection with fairy people over Instagram yet. Might still come. So I also want to, so that's that for that lesson. Now I also want to have a little bit of a conclusion. So we worked through a lot. I did write a lot, which you all know that English is not my first language, it's my fourth language. And so it was quite an exercise for me as well to write all those lessons. And yeah, it's been a lot of work. So we started with who are the fairies, and then we went through all the elements on its own. Then we discovered the liminal time and space. Then we had a look at sacred sites and how to work with sacred sites, which came together with the next lesson where we had a look at the earth energies and ley lines and fairy paths. And I think this is such an important, together, you know, with the elements and sacred sites and earth energy is a really important part of fairy. And you should really not skip this. Of course you can, but I think it's really a crucial point. Then we also went to the sacred space, right? Which is also so important to be comfortable in a sacred space. And this actually opens us up for any kind of spiritual work, but also for fairy, right? And then we had a look at symbols, which is not the most important lesson, I admit. Then we looked at the offerings, which is again a very important part of the fairy work. At tools, what you can use if you want to work a bit more magically or, you know, practically, whatever. What came then? Number 10. Oh, meet your fairy guide. So we all made contact. I hope we all made contact with our fairy guide. And then we had a look at the dangers, what we should be prepared for, how we can protect ourselves if necessary. And then we went into the underworld, which is, yeah, so with those two journeys that I gave you to meet your fairy guide and the underworld, I think you're good to go from here. And then we also, ooh, number 13, what was number, oh, was it all real? Is it all real? So we had a little bit of a discussion there. Again, had a discussion on video, but maybe it was a bit better in the text. Then we also had a look at the fairy and fantasy, how we can combine that, which came then also again a bit in the topic with is it all real when doubt creeps in. So this, but I think it is an interesting discussion, so I really liked to include that. And then of course tarot decks, fairy tarot and fairy oracle decks and other divination tools, so maybe that's the easier way for you to communicate with the fae. And yeah, now we're here at the end, and I think I before I started this course, I really needed to have a good, I really had to think a lot about how I want to structure it, but now the way I did structure it, I am really happy with it, and I think this is really the way to go. And then from here you can go wherever you want to. You can start in fairy healing if you like. There are some great books about that out there if that is something you would enjoy. Maybe you are just a traveler between the worlds. Maybe you want to be more, you want to do more in divination work. Maybe you want to bring out the awareness of the fairy world out there too. Whatever you want to do, I think this course really gave you a solid foundation for everything, and from here you can do whatever you like. So here I want to take a moment to thank everybody who supported me during this course. and it really means the world to me, and I really hope I've created something that is useful for you. And I'm, you know, that I pre-record all my videos, so I'm I'm way ahead of you by now. But I guess I want to take a little break now from YouTube. I don't know if I'm doing that, but because maybe I had already such a long break. But if you don't see any videos for a while, I'm not disappearing. I just take a little break because it was a lot of work to do this course. And then also soon I'm going to vacation, I guess, whenever this video comes up. So maybe there will be a bit more quiet, but you have a lot to watch by now on my channel. And I nearly forgot. So if you have any questions about the Faery Course, about fairy in general, or just if you have questions for me in general, it really doesn't matter. Just leave them here in the comments, and if I get a few together, I may even make a video about that if that would be something you enjoy. So yeah, and we go back to the video. So thanks again, everybody. I'm sending you much love and many blessings, and bye bye.